morning, booktube. I've been meaning to start this video for 3 days, and given the current climate, it's happening in bed. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 3rd of March.
It's Edit and Becca here, who needs to do her eyebrows. For the entire video, I call it the month of March. It's actually April, which just goes to show how fucking long March was. So, anytime you hear the word March, it's April.
So already the Owls Readathon has kicked off, it started. I have already read a couple of books. I've read one, which is a bit of an achievement in itself, maybe. So if you don't know, the Owls Readathon is hosted by G at Book Roast, and it's inspired by the Harry Potter Wizarding World, where you take your owls, which are your ordinary wizarding level exams. So you pick a career you're aiming for. There are a series of prompts associated with the classes you have to take, and you have to pick a book to match the prompts. I'm going to sit up because you don't need to see my double chin. And now you get to see my frizzy hair. The career I've chosen is a librarian, so there are a few classes that I have to take in order to pass my owls. If I can remember rightly, they are Ancient Runes, Arithmancy, I'm not quite sure how to say it, Defense Against the Dark Arts, History of Magic, and Transfiguration. So the first book I've already read is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is volume 3 in the Heartstopper series, and I love it so much. This was a 5-star read, and because I finished the book, that means I have passed my exam in Ancient Runes. And the prompt for Ancient Runes was the Heart Rune, and because it's called Heartstopper, that passes the prompt. So Heartstopper is a graphic novel series about two boys, Nick and Charlie, who are in the same registration class in high school. Being the third novel in the series, Nick and Charlie are together. It's a queer love story. It's diverse, it's beautiful, and it's very much about what happens after the happily ever after. So this is the boys getting to know each other in a more romantic sense. It's them being comfortable showing their relationship to the world, and they also go on a really fun trip to Paris. So this is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Love the series. Cannot wait for the 4th to come out, but I'll have to wait a whole year. Maybe we'll still be in lockdown at that point too. Oh, hi Domino. How are you? Will you come in the video? That's kind of you. Yep, great. Perfect. We're just going to have a tale in the rest of this video. The next book I've started is The Murders in the Rue Morgue and Other Tales by Edgar Allan Poe. This is a short story collection by Edgar Allan Poe, which is meant to be creepy, and it's a classic, and I love the cover. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my god. I feel very attacked right now. So I've split it up into 6 sections, so that's like 3 stories each, because I don't usually like short stories. It's not that I don't like them, I just struggle to connect because you don't spend a lot of time in the stories. So I've read the first 3, Manuscript Found in an Old Bottle, Legea, and The Man Who's Used Up. So Manuscript Found in the Old Bottle was strange and unusual, and it was fine. It was fine. I'd probably say 2 stars. Legea was creepy and strange and kind of unsettling. And then The Man Who's Used Up, I would give 4 stars because it was so strange and unusual. I was really dark and hilarious as well. Like, I didn't think it was going to be as funny as it was, but it was really funny. So yeah, so that was really interesting. So I'm going to read a little bit more of that today, and then I'm going to start on my next book. And I completely forgot to tell you that it covers the Arithmancy prompt, which is reading outside your favourite genre. So I am reading a classic, and it's also a short story collection, which are both things that I tend to struggle with connecting. So cat tail in my mouth. Anyone going crazy in this lockdown? Oh my god, Domino, I love you, but just... Anyway, I'll check in once I've read more. Good morning, booktube. It's Saturday and I'm still in bed. I swear it's a new day. I swear. I promise. Wait, why am I crossing fingers and promise? I promise. I promise, I promise. It is now the start of the 24-hour readathon for the Owls Readathon. So for the next 24 hours until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, my time, we will be reading as much as we can and sleeping a little bit. Now, it's already about 3 o'clock and I've only just woken up. So I missed an hour. Side note, has anyone else turned nocturnal recently? I seem to go to bed at like 5 or 6 and then wake up in the afternoon and have missed the entire day. Plan for today is to read a little bit more of Edgar Allan Poe. I read a few stories yesterday, but today I'd like to get about halfway. So we will see how that goes. It's still okay so far. It's not blowing my mind as such, but I do really enjoy how he creates imagery and his character work, so that's something that I definitely enjoy, and hopefully it picks up. And now that we're getting to the iconic stories like The Murder in the Rue Morgue and the, what's that Beaten Heart one? Is it iconic if I can't remember what it is? I also started Dear Martin by Nick Stone, which is about a boy called Justice who is really struggling to find his place in the world, and also he's struggling to be allowed to find his place in the world. He writes letters to Martin Luther King, and that's why it's called Dear Martin. I love Nick Stone's writing style and I love her writing voice. Hi Domino, you're coming to join me. Are you just going to join me for every video? Yeah? She's so good. Back to reading. Just checking in, it is 4 in the morning, still nocturnal, and this is really bad lighting. So I've done a few different things today, but I did manage to get some reading done. I am now halfway through Edgar Allan Poe's short story collection. It's a difficult one because it's interesting and I enjoy the writing style, but apart from that one story that I read earlier on, it's just a bit, I don't know, I'm just not that fussed. I'm gonna keep trying and we'll see how it goes, but it could be a DNF. If it is a DNF, I'll have to find another book that covers that prompt. The other books I'm reading, I am 65% into Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and it's just amazing. Like, it's heartbreaking and thought-provoking, and I just can't put it down. I can't put it down. So, according to my Kindle, I've probably got another 45 minutes left, and I am flying through it. So, even though it is really, really late, I reckon I could finish it today, and I might finish it today because I want to know what happens. It is so good. The other book I have started is an audiobook of Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. If you haven't heard of Gideon the Ninth, it's basically pitched as lesbian necromancers in space. If that doesn't sell you on it, I don't know what will. It's about a 17-hour audiobook, and I think I'm a couple of hours in, and it's too late for me to do the maths on that. So. Very cleverly written. Within the first couple of chapters, I was like, oh, I'm pretty lucky. I think I'm going to have 2 5-star reads this month. Unless something drastic happens, I'm calling it. It's almost 5 a.m. and I finished Dear Martin. 5 stars. I almost wish that I was a slower reader, because then I could have spent more time in the book, if that makes sense. But I need to formulate words. So I think I'm going to go to bed, and then when I get up in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll give you my full thoughts. I just find it, with all of this stuff that I'm not going to name, I find it really difficult to put together words or to know what I'm thinking, if that makes sense. It just feels like my brain is just full of mush, and it's just a bit of a struggle. Does anyone else feel like that? It's just, oh, I have a cat. She just appeared. This is Moi Moi. She's a good girl. I'm going to take my cat. And there's her butt. And I'm going to go to bed. So we are out on our 1 30-minute exercise a day. Is that right, my love?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd give you an update on the books I'm reading and where I'm at. Dear Martin, slept on it. Still a 5-star book. It's absolutely amazing. I love the way that Nick Stone writes relationships, whether those are family relationships, friend relationships, or romantic relationships. She writes them so realistically, and it feels like you know these characters personally, like you feel close to those characters. And I think it's a great book to talk about racism and racial profiling, and there's still a long way to go before racism is stamped out because there are a lot of hateful people in the world. Yeah, brilliant book. Highly recommend it. I am now reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Only 1 chapter in. And I think it's about dragon riders. Something like that. You like dragon riders, wouldn't you?
Who's that, me?
Would you like dragon riders?
Yeah. Daenerys Targaryen.
It's now about 4 o'clock and we've had our lovely walk. I'm exhausted. I'm not as fit as I once was. Actually, that's a lie, I've never been fit. But now I'm in my car. Don't worry, I'm not driving anywhere. Unlike that guy. I just have this weird thing where I put the washing machine on and then I have to go and sit in the car because it gives me anxiety. I'm going to carry on with Edgar Allan Poe's Murders in the Rue Morgue and Other Tales. At this point, it's probably going to be a DNF. Only because I have so many books on my TBR, literally over 500, that I feel like it's a waste of time almost reading books that are just okay. I would rather read books that are great or amazing. So it's made me a more critical reader, and I usually give it about 50 pages and then give up. I feel like I can't give up, but at the same time, I need to make sure I'm reading well from my TBR. And the reason I've DNF'd so many books in the past year or so is because for a long time I was just buying and buying and buying and buying, and I had this huge backlog of books and I didn't have time to read them, so I just kept on buying new books and they would just go further and further back on my TBR. And then for about 2 years I didn't read at all because I totally burnt myself out with my blog and it wasn't fun anymore. So now it's like 7 years since I started my blog originally, and my taste as a reader has totally changed. So there's a lot of books that have been on my TBR that I would have loved 7 years ago, but now they just don't hold the same appeal. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm going to try and persevere with Edgar Allan Poe, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to give up. So I'll keep you posted.
Round. Everyone's favourite book-based round. Yes. Culture round.
Good morning. I'm in bed again, which surprises nobody. And my hair is a mess, and I need a shower, but we are going to end this vlog right here. Edgar Allan Poe. You know what, I'm okay with it. I am okay with the fact that he's not my cup of tea. Classics, I tend to struggle with. Short story collections, I absolutely do struggle with. So, God, why am I so shaky this morning? I did get 140 pages in, which is almost halfway. So at least I can take that as a win. But that means that I don't have a prompt or a book to fill the prompt. I'm going to have to figure that one out. To sum up, I finished 2 books this week and got halfway through another. So I'm really happy with that. I'm carrying 2 books over into next week's vlog. This week's vlog. But leave me a comment below. Thank you for watching. If you managed to stick with me through this really short, strange vlog. I'm going to have to get back into vlogging again, because it's been a while. And let me know if you're doing the Owls Readathon, which career are you aiming for, what owls are you taking. Let me know how you're getting on in this like crazy time. I genuinely care and would like to know. So please comment below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought, and whether I'm a complete numpty for not finishing Edgar Allan Poe. How do I end these?